Watching a guy with one boxing glove fight, watching a sumo wrestler getting his teeth kicked in by a kickboxer, and seeing someone get choked out by a gi, these are all things you don't typically see in MMA fights, but they are all important events in the history of MMA, and they all occurred in UFC number 1.
8 of the deadliest fighters in the world will meet in a no-holds-barred combat to determine who is the ultimate fighting champion.
23 years ago, in November 1993, the world was introduced to the Ultimate Fighting Championship at UFC 1. If you've only been introduced to the UFC in the last 10 years or so, you might be surprised at how different the first Ultimate Fighting Championship was compared with today's UFC bouts.
8 street-tough warriors wage combat in a battle where anything can happen and probably will.
The goal of UFC 1 was to determine which fighting discipline was the best. This was before martial arts were nearly as mixed as they are now. Viewers wanted to know, could a sumo wrestler defeat a boxer? Or was shoot fighting a better fighting style than Taekwondo? Originally, the UFC was to answer this very question, with the famous Gracie fighting family believing their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was the best, with their strong emphasis on grappling and submission holds.
It's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu all the way. There's no chance.
The original UFC card had 8 fights, pitting sumo versus savate, also known as French kickboxing, kickboxing versus kenpo, boxing versus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and shoot fighting versus Taekwondo.
There's the tap out right there. Just too painful.
There were also far fewer rules than today, and a smaller purse. The winner only got $50,000. And as far as rules went, it was pretty much no eye gouges, no biting, and that's pretty much it.
That was a clear going shot.
It was also considered so violent that after UFC 1, 36 states banned no-rules fighting, and the future matches had to move around to find places where it was still legal to fight.
We're in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, Casper, Wyoming, Detroit, Michigan, Augusta, Georgia. Our setting, the Ruben Rodriguez Coliseum in Bayamon. We're in the magic city of Birmingham, Alabama.
In fact, Senator John McCain called the sport reprehensible and that it degraded society in a New York Times editorial in 1995. In the event, Royce Gracie and his family's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dominated the event, beating Art Jimerson, a boxer in the first round, Ken Shamrock, then known as a shoot fighter, in the second, and Gerard Gordeau, the Saboteur, in the final, submitting each opponent along the way.
It's gotta be a great joke. It's over.
It's over.
Now, way before I was the voice of the Montage King, I pay-per-viewed UFC 1 with a couple of my buddies. And once we saw Telia Tuli get his teeth kicked out in that brutal fight with Gerard Gordeau,
I think we're just missing teeth there.
we knew that this type of event was either going to replace boxing altogether, which was far more popular back then, or get banned altogether. Well, after lots of adjustment, modifications to the rules, and maturity in the fighting so that pretty much everyone fights the same MMA style now, UFC has turned into the force it is today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are about to see something that you have never seen before, the Ultimate Fighting Challenge. Hello, I'm Bill Wallace, and welcome to McNichols Arena